Kai's shuttle glided smoothly through the soft lavender clouds of Elithra, the alien planet glowing like a jewel beneath him. From the viewport, the city shimmered in hues of sapphire and emerald, floating structures defying gravity, and streets lined with luminous plants that pulsed gently in rhythm with the soft wind. It was unlike anything he had ever seen on Earth. And even after months of preparation, he still felt a wave of awe. As the human ambassador to this distant world, Kai had been chosen to represent Earth in an exchange program meant to strengthen relations with the Elathrans, a species renowned for their intelligence, harmony, and advanced technology. He had studied their culture, language, and traditions. But nothing could fully prepare him for the reality of standing in the heart of Elithra's capital. The shuttle landed softly on a platform suspended in the air by invisible forces. Kai stepped out, feeling the gentle hum of Elithra's energy under his feet. A group of Elithran attendants, tall and graceful, with iridescent skin and eyes that seemed to reflect the cosmos, greeted him with synchronized gestures. Their movements were elegant, precise, and calming, as if the air itself responded to their presence. "Kai, welcome to Elithra," said one of the attendants, her voice melodious and warm. "I am Solara, your guide. The royal family is expecting you shortly." Kai nodded, trying to mask the nervous excitement that fluttered in his chest. He had been briefed that the Elethrans valued dignity, composure, and respect. Yet he could not help the human curiosity bubbling within him. Every step he took was a step into a world so alien it almost felt like stepping into a dream. The palace rose before him, a marvel of architecture that seemed grown rather than built. Towers spiraled like twisting vines, glass surfaces shimmering with iridescent patterns that shifted with the sunlight, and terraces overflowed with gardens that defied gravity, floating freely in midair. He took a deep breath, letting the beauty of it sink in, before following Solara inside. Inside the palace, everything was bathed in soft light, with walls that seemed alive, gently moving, responding to the presence of those who walked past. The Elithrans believed that buildings should interact with inhabitants, creating harmony between nature, technology, and living beings. Kai marveled at this philosophy, wondering how humanity had yet to learn such delicate balance. He was led into a vast chamber, where a formal ceremony was already underway. Elithran officials stood in elegant formations, their clothing reflecting the soft luminescence of the room. At the center of the chamber stood Princess Leora, the eldest daughter of the royal family. She was taller than most humans, her presence commanding yet serene. Her hair shimmered like liquid silver, and her eyes held a depth of intelligence and curiosity that made Kai feel both nervous and intrigued. As Kai stepped forward, Leora's gaze met his. There was a brief pause, a moment of quiet assessment, and then she spoke in perfect English, though her voice carried the subtle musicality of Elethran speech. "Kai of Earth, your arrival honors us." Kai bowed respectfully, offering a polite smile. "The honor is mine, Princess Leora. Your world is breathtaking, and I am eager to learn from it." Leora inclined her head slightly, and then, unexpectedly, she added, "Our families have chosen us to be wed." The words hit Kai like a sudden gust of wind. He blinked, unsure if he had heard correctly. "Pardon?" he asked, his voice catching slightly. Leora's expression remained calm, almost amused by his reaction. "You heard correctly. Our families have determined that this bond would strengthen understanding and unity between humans and Elethrans. It is an ancient custom, one we honor with respect and consideration." Kai swallowed, trying to process the statement. He had expected diplomacy, cultural exchanges, and formal discussions, but not a declaration of marriage. On Earth, arranged unions were rare and often frowned upon. Yet here it seemed to be a matter of tradition and honor. He struggled to find words, caught between disbelief and curiosity. "Princess, I am honored by the trust your family places in me, but this is unexpected," he said carefully, trying to remain composed. Leora stepped closer, her presence radiating confidence without aggression. "Kai, this is not meant to startle you. We Elethrans see qualities in humans that we admire. Your resilience, Your creativity, your compassion, these traits make humans remarkable. My family believes that joining our houses will create a bond that benefits both our worlds. I myself. Kai felt a mixture of apprehension and fascination. He had read about the Illithran's reverence for empathy and collaboration. But experiencing it firsthand was different. Leora was not demanding obedience. She was offering a choice, though framed within the weight of tradition. As the attendants stepped back, giving them space, Leora extended her hand politely. I wish for this to be more than a formality, Kai. I hope it can grow into a true friendship, even if we start as strangers. Kai hesitated for a moment, then took her hand. The touch was gentle, yet firm, a silent acknowledgement of the unusual situation they faced. Then I will do my best to understand your world and earn the trust you place in me, he said, his voice steady, despite the whirlwind of thoughts in his mind. The ceremony continued with formalities. Each step, highlighting the Illithran emphasis on respect, harmony, and shared purpose. Kai observed everything with keen interest, noting how every gesture, every word, seemed designed to maintain balance and connection. He realized that this culture, though alien, valued principles that humans often struggled to achieve: patience, empathy, and mindful interaction. After the ceremony, Leora guided Kai through the palace gardens. Floating flora drifted gently around them, releasing subtle fragrances that changed with every breeze. The gardens were a living art form, and Kai felt a sense of peace he had never known on Earth. You must find this all quite overwhelming, Leora said, her tone light but sincere. Kai laughed softly. Overwhelming is an understatement. But it's also inspiring. I have never imagined a world like this, where everything is so alive. Everything. Leora smiled, a hint of mischief in her expression. We Illithrans believe that life and environment should reflect and nurture each other. Our cities, our gardens, even our homes, are designed to create harmony. It is not always easy, but it is beautiful. As they walked, Kai began to ask questions, not only about the customs surrounding their bond, but also about Illithran philosophy, technology, and daily life. Leora answered patiently, sharing insights with clarity and enthusiasm. He noticed how her eyes lit up when she spoke of her world, how her pride in her culture was matched by genuine curiosity about his experiences on Earth. Hours passed like minutes, and for the first time since his arrival, Kai felt a sense of connection. The notion of being chosen to bond with Leora, once intimidating, began to feel like an opportunity, a chance to bridge two worlds, to learn and grow alongside someone remarkable. By the time the twin moons of Illithra rose in the sky, casting silver light over the floating gardens, Kai realized that the fear he had felt earlier was replaced by anticipation. This was not a conventional human experience. It was something extraordinary. He could see now that HFY humanity's curiosity, adaptability, and heart had led him here, ready to step into a universe far beyond his imagination. As they stood together, gazing at the luminous landscape, Leora spoke softly, almost as if sharing a secret. Kai, the bond is not just a tradition. It is a choice. And I hope that you will find it as meaningful as I intend it to be. Kai nodded, a sense of determination and wonder settling in his chest. I will try, Princess. I truly will. And in that moment, beneath the glowing skies of Illithra, two worlds began their first steps toward understanding, guided not by duty alone, but by curiosity, respect, and the quiet courage that defines humanity at its best. Kai woke early to the soft hum of Illithra's energy fields, feeling a mixture of excitement and nervous anticipation. The morning sky shimmered in shades of pink and gold, and the floating gardens swayed gently in the breeze. Today, Princess Leora had promised to show him more of the city and teach him about the traditions that guided her people. When he arrived at the palace gardens, Leora was already waiting, standing on a terrace where flowers glowed softly under the rising light. She smiled warmly as he approached. Good morning, Kai. I hope you slept well. I did, thank you, Kai replied. This place, it feels alive, even in the morning light. That is because it is alive, Leora said simply, her eyes sparkling. Everything here interacts with life. The gardens, the air, even the structures respond to energy and thought. It is our way of staying in harmony with the world around us. Kai followed her through the winding paths of floating flora. As they walked, he asked questions about the plants, the floating streams, and the glowing insects that flitted through the air. Leora answered with patience and enthusiasm, sharing knowledge that was part science, part philosophy. You see, she explained, on Elithra, life is not divided into separate parts. Everything is connected. Technology, nature, and our emotions all influence each other. This is why we value understanding, respect, and empathy above all. Humans have similar traits, but your species often struggles to see the connections between things. Kai nodded thoughtfully. I think that is true. We often focus on efficiency or success without considering the balance. It's fascinating to see a world that embraces connection fully. Their conversation flowed easily, and Kai found himself relaxing. Leora was not just a princess or a diplomat. She was intelligent, curious, and approachable. For the first time since arriving, Kai felt that their bond, though unusual, could grow naturally if given time. After exploring the gardens, Leora led him to the Hall of Memory, a structure that housed Elithra's history and achievements. The walls shimmered with holographic images, each displaying moments of great discovery, peaceful negotiation, and the growth of their society. Kai watched, captivated, as the scenes moved with fluid grace. These memories are not just records, Leora explained. They are living experiences. We use them to learn from the past and to guide our future. Every Elithran contributes to this collection, including me. I believe it is important for you to see this, Kai, so you understand our values and traditions. Kai marveled at the depth of knowledge and respect woven into the Elithran way of life. It's incredible, he said. I can see why your people are so harmonious and wise. On Earth, we have knowledge too, but often it is divided by conflict or competition, Leora nodded. Harmony is hard to maintain, but it is worth striving for. That is why the bond between us is important. It is not just a personal matter. It is a symbol of cooperation, trust, and understanding between our species. As the day progressed, Kai and Leora participated in a series of exercises designed to deepen their mutual understanding. They learned how to communicate using Elithra's emotion-infused holograms, a system where thoughts and feelings could be expressed visually and intuitively. At first, Kai found it challenging, but Leora guided him patiently, and soon he began to enjoy the playful experimentation. You see, Kai, Leora said with a small smile, our communication is not just about words. It is about intention and empathy. You do well to try. Kai laughed. It's definitely different from human language, but I think I am starting to understand. It's freeing in a way. You can express ideas and feelings without misunderstandings. Their lessons were interspersed with lighter moments. Leora introduced Kai to Elithran games, which were part strategy, part physical skill, and part intuition. They floated across magnetic platforms, solved energy puzzles together, and laughed when mistakes led to surprising outcomes. With every shared challenge, Kai felt the bond between them grow, not forced by tradition, but formed naturally through trust, teamwork, and fun. At one point, they stopped near a crystal waterfall, its light scattering rainbows across the floating terraces. Kai watched the shimmering colors reflect in Leora's eyes. You know, he said quietly, I wasn't sure about this bond when I arrived. It felt strange, even overwhelming. But now, I think I understand why our families value it. It's not just about duty. It's about learning from each other and building something meaningful. Former. Learning. Leora's expression softened. That is all I have ever hoped for. The bond is strongest when it is chosen willingly, when curiosity and respect guide it, rather than obligation. You are already showing that, Kai. After a pause, they continued their exploration, visiting Elithra's innovation labs, where humans and Elithrans collaborated on projects. Kai was fascinated by the merging of human creativity and Elithran technology. Together, they developed energy-efficient tools, environmental enhancements, and even playful inventions that combined art and function. Leora watched him work with admiration, noting how his human perspective brought fresh ideas and unexpected solutions. You humans have a way of seeing possibilities that we sometimes overlook, Leora said. It is one of the reasons our families believe in this bond. We see potential in combining our strengths. Kai felt pride mixed with humility. And I am learning so much from you and your people. This is more than I could have imagined. It is a privilege to be here. As evening approached, the city began to glow with soft luminescence. Floating lanterns reflected in the streams of energy that ran like veins through Elithra. Kai and Leora stood on a high terrace, overlooking the city. The view was breathtaking, and Kai felt a sense of connection, not only to this world but to the being beside him. Do you ever feel overwhelmed by all of this? Kai asked honestly. By the expectations, the traditions, and the responsibility? Leora smiled faintly. Sometimes. But I remind myself that life is a journey of understanding. Responsibility is not a burden. It is a chance to grow. And having someone who is willing to learn and share that journey makes it easier. Kai nodded, realizing that the more he learned about Elithra, the more he understood the depth of its culture. Their bond, once a strange concept, now seemed like a bridge, one built on curiosity, respect, and shared experiences. They spent the remainder of the evening in quiet conversation, sharing stories of Earth and Elithra. Kai told Leora about his childhood in a small city by the sea, about the human fascination with exploration, and the joy found in simple moments. Leora shared memories of Elithran festivals, the importance of music and art in their society, and the lessons she had learned as a princess preparing to lead her people. Through their dialogue, they discovered common ground. A love for learning, a curiosity about the universe, and a desire to create harmony wherever possible. The differences between their species seemed less like obstacles and more like opportunities to understand the richness of life. As the twin moons rose again, casting silver light across the city, Kai realized that the day had changed him. He was no longer just a visitor or a diplomat. He was part of a shared story, one that stretched beyond planets and species. The Elithran's respect for life, connection, and collaboration had inspired him, and Leora's guidance and friendship had shown him that even the most unexpected bonds could be meaningful. Thank you for today, Kai said, looking at her with sincerity. I think I am beginning to understand your world, and maybe even myself a little better. Leora's eyes softened. And I am glad you are here, Kai. This is only the beginning. Our bond, like our friendship, will grow through experiences, understanding, and choice. And I look forward to that journey. As they parted for the night, Kai felt a sense of anticipation for the days ahead. The Elithron world was vast, full of wonders yet to be discovered, and he would explore it alongside someone remarkable. The idea of the bond no longer seemed intimidating. It seemed like a chance to create something extraordinary, a symbol of what humans and Elithrans could achieve together. For the first time, Kai understood that HFY humanity's curiosity, creativity, and adaptability was not just about survival or achievement. It was about connection, understanding, and the courage to step into the unknown. And with Leora by his side, he felt ready to do just that. As the city lights reflected in his eyes and the soft music of Elithra's night filled the air, Kai smiled. The journey had just begun, and he knew it would be filled with discovery, wonder, and the quiet thrill of bridging two worlds. Kai had been on Elithra for several weeks now, and each day seemed more astonishing than the last. The floating gardens, the shimmering city, and the people's gentle wisdom had begun to feel familiar. Yet, he could not ignore the weight of the bond. that had been proposed between him and Princess Leora. While curiosity and excitement filled him, doubts sometimes surfaced in the quiet moments of reflection. One morning, Leora arrived at the palace gardens with her usual serene smile. "Kai, are you ready for today's activities?" she asked, her tone warm yet determined. Kai nodded, though a shadow of hesitation lingered. "Yes, but I sometimes wonder if I am truly prepared for this. Our bond. It is more than I ever expected. I feel honored, but also uncertain about the future." Leora's gaze softened. "It is natural to have doubts, Kai. Bonds, whether between individuals or cultures, are not formed without reflection. What matters is how we navigate these uncertainties together. Understanding comes from experience, not from words alone." They set out toward the Crystal Terraces, a vast area where Elithrans conducted cooperative projects and experiments. Today, they would work on a project to restore a section of the gardens that had been damaged by a recent storm. It was a chance for Kai to demonstrate human ingenuity while learning the Elithran methods of collaboration. The storm had uprooted floating plants and disrupted energy conduits that powered the garden's luminous displays. Elithran gardeners and engineers worked alongside Kai and Leora, each movement precise and intentional. Leora guided Kai through the process, explaining the delicate balance required to stabilize the floating flora. Kai observed the intricate patterns of energy and matter, fascinated by how each component was interconnected. "On Earth," he said, "we fix things in isolation. We rarely consider how one change affects everything else. Here, everything is connected." Allowing the first pot up. "On Earth," Leora nodded, "that is why harmony is so important. Every decision carries weight, and every action ripples through the environment. You humans have creativity and adaptability qualities we value greatly. Your perspective is valuable here." Kai smiled, feeling a sense of purpose. He carefully adjusted energy conduits, guided floating plants back into place, and suggested a few enhancements that borrowed from Earth's engineering principles. The Elithrans listened attentively, incorporating his ideas into the restoration process. By the time the project was complete, the gardens looked more radiant than ever, a symbol of collaboration between two species. As they stepped back to admire their work, Leora turned to Kai. "You see, Kai, the bond is not just about ceremony. It is about shared effort, learning, and growth. This is how trust and respect are built, not in words alone, but through experience." Kai nodded, realizing that the day's work mirrored the larger journey they were on. The bond was not a demand. It was an invitation to explore, understand, and create something meaningful together. Later, they visited the Council of Knowledge, where Elithrans and humans discussed interplanetary projects. Kai found himself contributing to solutions for environmental preservation, combining human ingenuity with Elithran technology. Leora observed him with admiration, noting how his ideas often offered fresh perspectives that her people had not considered. "You humans have a way of seeing possibilities beyond structure," Leora remarked. "It is why our families believe in the importance of this bond. Cooperation allows us to achieve more than we could alone." Kai smiled, feeling a growing confidence. He began to understand that the Elithrans' admiration for humans was not blind. They saw potential in human qualities, curiosity, creativity, and adaptability, and they valued the contributions he could make. Despite their progress, whispers of doubt began to circulate among both humans and Elithrans. Some humans worried that the differences between species were too vast, while a few Elithrans questioned whether an interspecies bond could truly thrive. Kai was aware of the skepticism, and it weighed on him during quiet moments. One evening, as the twin moons of Elithra rose in the sky, casting silver light across the city, Kai and Leora walked through the floating plaza, a vast open space where citizens gathered to observe performances and participate in discussions. Kai spoke openly about his worries. "Leora," he began, "I sometimes feel the pressure of expectation. People from both our worlds are watching, and I wonder if I am truly ready for this bond. I want to honor your trust, but I also want it to be genuine, not just duty." Leora stopped and looked at him thoughtfully. Kai, true bonds are never without pressure. They require reflection, patience, and courage. What you feel is natural. The important part is that you act from sincerity, not obligation. That is the only way a connection becomes meaningful. Her words comforted him. He realized that the bond's strength would not come from ceremony alone, but from shared experiences, mutual respect, and understanding. It was not a path of certainty, but one of discovery, and he felt ready to take that journey. The next days were filled with collaborative tasks that tested their ability to work together. They helped negotiate a trade agreement between human merchants and Elithran suppliers, finding solutions that respected both cultures. They participated in cultural exchanges, sharing music, stories, and games that revealed the beauty of their differences and the value of cooperation. One day, they visited a section of Elithra where endangered species were being protected. The creatures were unlike any Kai had seen. Luminous, delicate, and highly intelligent. Working alongside Leora, he helped design new habitats that allowed the creatures to thrive, blending human ingenuity with Elithran understanding of energy and space. Through these shared adventures, Kai and Leora grew closer. Not through obligation, but through admiration and trust. Leora saw Kai's kindness, intelligence, and humor, while Kai discovered Leora's wisdom, courage, and empathy. They laughed together, solved problems together, and faced challenges together, forming a partnership built on genuine connection. During a quiet moment in the gardens, Kai reflected on their journey. "I never imagined that an arranged bond could feel so natural," he said. "It is strange to admit, but I think I am beginning to understand its purpose." Leora smiled, her expression gentle. "That is all I hope for, Kai. The bond is strongest when it grows from understanding, not obligation. Our family's choice was the beginning, but it is our choices, our actions, that make it real." As the days passed, they faced a series of minor challenges that tested their patience and problem-solving. A sudden energy fluctuation disrupted a garden's balance, and they had to collaborate quickly to restore harmony. A misunderstanding in translation during a cultural discussion required careful negotiation to prevent offense. Each obstacle strengthened their bond, teaching them the importance of empathy, communication, and cooperation. Kai began to notice that his admiration for Leora had deepened beyond respect. Her intelligence, compassion, and courage inspired him. He also realized that Elithran society, with its focus on harmony and understanding, was influencing him in subtle ways, making him more patient, observant, and mindful of the consequences of his actions. One evening, after a long day of activities, Kai and Leora sat on a terrace overlooking the glowing city. The air was filled with the soft hum of energy and the gentle scent of alien blossoms. "Kai," Leora said softly, "do you ever wonder what it would be like if humans and Elithrans shared more of their lives together? Beyond diplomacy? Beyond duty?" Kai considered the question, feeling a warmth in his chest. "I do, and I think it could be extraordinary. I can see how much we can learn from each other, and how much stronger we can be together, not just for our families, but for our people, and even for ourselves." Leora reached out, placing a hand over his. "That is the essence of the bond. It is not just a symbol or tradition. It is a living, growing connection. And I believe we have the chance to make it something remarkable." Kai squeezed her hand gently, feeling a surge of confidence. He realized that the doubts he had felt were natural, but they had been replaced by understanding and a desire to engage fully in this shared journey. The bond was no longer a strange obligation. It was an opportunity, a chance to explore, learn, and create something meaningful alongside someone he admired deeply. As they sat together, watching the twin moons rise higher, Kai reflected on what he had learned. Humanity's strength, curiosity, adaptability, and courage had brought him here. Elithra's strength, wisdom, harmony, and empathy had guided him. Together, their strengths complemented each other, forming a partnership that was not just personal, but a bridge between two worlds. The night grew quiet, and Kai felt a profound sense of hope. The challenges ahead would not be simple, but with Leora by his side, he knew they could navigate them together. The bond, once intimidating and mysterious, now felt like a promise of understanding, growth, and a future that neither species could achieve alone. As they rose to return to the palace, Kai felt a renewed sense of purpose. The days of exploration, learning, and shared experiences had shown him that the bond was not about duty or expectation. It was about connection, respect, and the courage to embrace the unknown. Walking side by side, Kai and Leora stepped into the soft glow of Elithra's city, ready to face whatever challenges the future might hold. Their journey was far from over, but the foundation they had built, trust, understanding, and shared adventure, was strong. And in that moment, Kai understood that the essence of HFY, humanity's heart, curiosity, and resilience, had played a vital role in creating something truly extraordinary. For the first time, he felt certain that their bond could flourish, not because it was chosen for them, but because they had chosen to make it meaningful themselves. The day of the bond ceremony had arrived. Elithra's twin moons hung low in the sky, casting silver light across the floating terraces, illuminating the city in a glow that seemed almost magical. Citizens of both species gathered in the Grand Plaza, eager to witness a historic event, the union of human ingenuity and Elethran wisdom through the bond of Kai and Princess Leora. Kai stood at the edge of the ceremonial platform, feeling a mixture of excitement and calm determination. The weeks he had spent learning about Elithra, working alongside Leora, and understanding her people, had transformed his perspective. He no longer saw the bond as a strange obligation, but as an opportunity to bridge worlds, to build something meaningful and lasting. Leora approached, her presence serene and radiant. She wore the ceremonial attire of her people, a flowing gown woven from luminescent threads that shifted colors with the light. Her eyes met Kai's, conveying both warmth and quiet strength. "Are you ready?" she asked softly. Kai nodded, offering a reassuring smile. "I am. More than ever. I am ready to take this step not out of duty, but because I want to share this journey with you." The officiant, a respected elder of Elithra, stepped forward. Their form was graceful, eyes reflecting the twin moons above, and voice resonant with calm authority. "Kai of Earth, Princess Leora of Elithra, today your families honor both your courage and the values of your people. You are invited to join in a bond not merely of ceremony, but of shared understanding, respect, and trust." The elder's words carried weight, not as commands but as a reminder of the responsibilities and possibilities the bond represented. Kai felt the eyes of the crowd upon him, but instead of pressure, he felt clarity. He understood now that the strength of this union would come not from obligation, but from choice and genuine connection. The officiant continued, explaining the ancient Elithran tradition. The bond symbolized unity between two beings, two families, and two worlds. It was a living commitment, a promise to nurture understanding, cooperation, and mutual growth. Both parties had the right to accept or decline, making the decision an expression of personal integrity and shared purpose. Kai took a deep breath, recalling the days he had spent learning, exploring, and working alongside Leora. He remembered the moments of laughter in the floating gardens, the challenges they had overcome together, and the quiet conversations under Elithra's glowing sky. Each memory reinforced the truth he had come to recognize. This bond was not a formality. It was a path forward. He turned to Leora, who met his gaze with unwavering confidence. "I accept this bond," he said clearly, his voice carrying through the plaza. "Not because it was chosen for me, but because I believe in what we can achieve together, as friends, as partners, and as representatives of our people." A gentle murmur of approval swept through the crowd. Leora's lips curved into a warm smile, and she responded, "And I accept. Kai, I accept because I trust in you." in our bond, and in the journey we will share. Together, we can build understanding between our worlds and grow stronger for it." The elder's eyes gleamed with satisfaction. "Then the bond is official. May it flourish, bringing wisdom, courage, and compassion to both your peoples." A soft chime resonated through the plaza as streams of light intertwined around Kai and Leora, a symbolic representation of their connection. The citizens of Elithra and the visiting humans watched in awe, witnessing a rare and profound moment of unity. The energy of the ceremony was not loud or dramatic, but gentle, harmonious, and uplifting, a reflection of the values the bond embodied. After the ceremony, Kai and Leora walked together through the streets of Elithra, now officially bonded. Citizens approached them with smiles and words of congratulations. Humans marveled at the alien city, while Elithrans observed Kai's ingenuity and the warmth of his interactions with Leora. The streets were alive with celebration, yet the mood was peaceful and respectful, reflecting the essence of Elithran culture. Kai felt a sense of pride and belonging he had never experienced before. The bond had transformed from an abstract idea into a real connection, one built on trust, understanding, and shared experiences. He realized that humanity's qualities, curiosity, creativity, and courage had not only allowed him to survive on this alien world but to thrive and form a meaningful relationship with another species. In the days following the ceremony, Kai and Leora continued their collaborative work. They explored new areas of Elithra, studied environmental projects, and engaged in cultural exchanges that deepened mutual understanding. Humans and Elithrans began to share more ideas, blending Earth's innovation with Elithran harmony. Projects that once seemed impossible became achievable through cooperation. And the bond between Kai and Leora served as an inspiring example. One afternoon, they visited a floating orchard where Elithran fruits glowed with soft, colorful light. Leora explained the subtle energy cycles that allowed the plants to flourish, and Kai shared earth-based agricultural techniques that could complement these methods. Together, they designed enhancements that improved efficiency without disturbing the delicate balance of the orchard. "This is remarkable," Kai said, stepping back to admire their work. "Combining our knowledge creates something neither of us could achieve alone." Leora nodded. "Exactly. The bond is more than personal. It symbolizes the power of understanding and collaboration. It is what our families envisioned, and it is what we continue to build every day." Their partnership grew stronger not only through work but through simple moments of shared humanity. They laughed while navigating Elithra's floating pathways, debated ideas late into the night, and marveled at the beauty of the twin moons reflected in the streams and gardens below. Kai often reflected on how his perception of the universe had changed: the vastness, the possibilities, and the value of empathy and cooperation across species. One evening, while watching the moons rise from a high terrace, Kai spoke softly. "Leora, I never imagined that arriving here would lead to this, to friendship, understanding, and now this bond. It has been more than I could have hoped for." Leora placed her hand over his. "Kai, this is only the beginning. The bond is a living thing, and we will continue to nurture it together. Your humanity, your curiosity, kindness, and resilience has made this possible. You have not just learned about Elithra, you have contributed to it in ways that strengthen us all." Kai smiled, feeling a quiet sense of fulfillment. "I suppose that is what HFY truly means. Humanity's heart, curiosity, and courage can build bridges, inspire change, and connect worlds." "Yes," Leora agreed. "And together, we can show both humans and Elithrans what cooperation, respect, and understanding can achieve." In the weeks that followed, the bond between Kai and Leora became a symbol of interplanetary unity. Schools and institutions incorporated lessons from their collaboration, encouraging humans and Elithrans to learn from each other. Trade and cultural exchange flourished, and new projects emerged that benefited both species. The bond was no longer a ceremonial gesture. It was a living testament to the power of choice, collaboration, and mutual respect. Kai often reflected on the journey that had brought him here. From the initial shock of Leora's declaration to the shared adventures, challenges, and learning, he had discovered the depth of both Elithran culture and his own potential. He realized that the true strength of humanity was not just in technology or ingenuity, but in empathy, curiosity, and the courage to step into the unknown. Leora and Kai continued to explore, experiment, and learn together, their bond growing stronger with each day. They laughed at mistakes, celebrated successes, and faced challenges with patience and creativity. Through it all, they exemplified the best of both worlds, human curiosity and Elithran wisdom, creating a partnership that inspired everyone who witnessed it. One evening, as the city glowed under the twin moons, Kai and Leora stood on a terrace overlooking Elithra's floating gardens. The soft hum of energy and the scent of luminous blossoms filled the air. "Kai," Leora said gently, "look at what we have built together. Not just a bond, but a bridge between worlds. It is extraordinary." Kai nodded, feeling a deep sense of peace. "It is, and it shows that when humans and Elithrans or any beings come together with respect, curiosity, and understanding, we can achieve incredible things." Leora smiled, her eyes reflecting the light of the moons. "And this is only the beginning. There are more discoveries to make, more challenges to face, and more opportunities to grow together. But I am glad we are doing it side by side." Kai took her hand, feeling the warmth and strength of their connection. "Side by side," he agreed. "Together, we can explore the unknown, learn from each other, and build a future that reflects the best of both our worlds." As they stood there, the city glowing beneath them and the moons shining above, Kai realized that the journey of their bond, like humanity itself, was about connection, understanding, and the courage to embrace the unknown. The path ahead would have challenges, but with respect, curiosity, and collaboration, they could face anything. The citizens of Elithra and visiting humans alike celebrated this historic union, not as a spectacle, but as a symbol of what was possible when hearts and minds came together across worlds. Kai and Leora's bond had become a living testament to the best of humanity and the enduring wisdom of Elithra. In the quiet moments, away from the celebrations and the ceremonies, Kai reflected on the lessons he had learned. That strength lies in empathy, curiosity fuels growth, and courage allows one to step into the unknown. Elithra had shown him a new way of seeing the universe, and Leora had shown him that bonds, whether between individuals, families, or worlds, are strongest when nurtured with respect and understanding. As the night deepened and the twin moons cast a serene light across the floating city, Kai felt a profound sense of belonging. He was no longer just a visitor on Elithra. He was part of a living, growing connection that symbolized the possibilities of cooperation, friendship, and hope. And in that moment, with Leora by his side and their bond shining like the moons above, Kai understood that the journey they had begun together was far greater than either could have imagined. It was a story of two worlds united by curiosity, empathy, and the courage to embrace the extraordinary, a true celebration of humanity at its best.